Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a video that will have you charging headfirst into the science behind one of Marvel Comics' most iconic characters, Rhino. With his indestructible armor and superhuman strength, Rhino has been a thorn in the side of many of our favorite superheroes. But have you ever stopped to wonder what makes Rhino tick? What gives him the power to charge through walls and withstand even the most brutal attacks? Well, you are in luck because we are about to take a deep dive into the anatomy of this incredible creature. In this video, we will explore Rhino's physical structure, powers, and abilities, uncovering the secrets that make him such a formidable foe. We will examine his tough exterior and what lies beneath. From his powerful muscles to his armored hide, we will also delve into his incredible strength and durability, and how they allow him to take on even the most powerful opponents. So grab a drink, sit back, and get ready to be entertained and educated as we explore the anatomy of Rhino. It is going to be a wild ride, so hold on tight. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Rhino, connection to gamma radiation. Well, it looks like Rhino owes all his supernatural powers to gamma ray radiation, the same stuff that turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk. Talk about borrowing from the best. But it seems Rhino just could not get enough of that gamma goodness because he kept going back for more treatments to increase his powers. I guess he was hoping to become the Incredible Rhino or something. And let us not forget about that acid-proof suit the scientists gave him. I mean, who needs a fancy superhero costume when you can have an acid-proof suit, right? I bet he is the envy of all of the other supervillains at the acid-proof suit conventions. But despite all that gamma ray radiation and high-tech equipment, Rhino just could not seem to catch a break. He got taken down by the Hulk not once, but twice, and ended up in a coma both times. And do not even get me started on that whole betrayal at Bruce Banner's wedding thing. Rhino, buddy, you had one job. All in all, it seems like Rhino's connection to gamma ray radiation is both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, it gave him superhuman powers and a cool acid-proof suit. On the other hand, it made him a target for all the superheroes out there. But you can't deny that he is one tough cookie, and his willingness to keep going back for more treatments shows just how determined he is to become the ultimate supervillain.
That happens.
Hello, tiny spiders.
Can Rhino take off his suit? Ah, the eternal question. Can Rhino take off his suit? Well, it depends on which version of him we are talking about. In the Earth 1048 universe, Rhino has mixed feelings about his armor. While he loves the power it gives him, he hates that he can't remove it and that it makes him a target for bullies. Dr. Octopus was capable of creating a corrosive that was able to free Rhino from his suit in a few days, which was a source of embarrassment for a certain government agency. On Earth 1610, the unnamed man who became Rhino was permanently attached to his cybernetic suit that was experimental. It seems that he simply could not bear to part with it. In contrast, on Earth 12041, Rhino initially did not need the Rhino armor that he traditionally used because he had fused his DNA with the genetics of a Rhino, which caused him to have enhanced strength, armored skin, and a horn on his head. However, Dr. Octopus later provided him with a more advanced Rhino-themed armor that had armor on top of armor, which seemed a bit excessive. On Earth 26496, Alex O'Hearn was used as a lab rat in an illegal experiment by the Big Man. His body was injected with the strong and hard titanium resin armor, whose design drew inspiration from a rhinoceros, which turned him into the Rhino. However, his armor had one major weakness. It obstructed his pores, forcing him to constantly stop and rehydrate. Spider-Man was quick to catch on and use this weakness to his advantage, as Rhino was otherwise immune to most attacks. The character Alexei Sestevich in the film The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was provided with a mechanized suit of armor that had a rhinoceros-inspired design, equipped with powerful machine guns and missile launchers. Despite all that firepower, he still could not defeat Spider-Man, who swung a manhole cover at his horn. So there you have it, the different versions of Rhino and their leadership with their suits. Some can't take them off, some have armor on top of armor, and some have a fatal flaw that makes them vulnerable. But one thing we know for sure, Rhino definitely knows how to make a statement with his fashion choices. So, how does he look without the suit on? Well, it is no surprise that Rhino is an imposing figure. He is a male standing at a towering 6'5", and he weighs in at a whopping 710 pounds. That is a lot of muscle and mass. His brown eyes are the only feature on his face that is not covered by his suit. They are probably the only thing about him that could be considered human. As for hair, it is brown, but let us be real. It is probably not something you notice when he is charging at you in that massive rhinoceros suit. Can he reproduce? Well, let us now dive into the question of whether Rhino can reproduce. Unfortunately, there is not much info that can shed light on this topic. We do know that Rhino was married to a waitress named Oksana, but there is no mention of any children. Now, some might argue that Rhino's transformation into a rhinoceros-human hybrid could have affected his reproductive capabilities. After all, it is not every day that a man turns into a walking tank with a horn on his head. But without more information, it is impossible to say for sure. So, let us turn to some speculation. If Rhino could reproduce, what would his offspring be like? Would they be super strong, nearly invincible half-human, half-rhinoceros hybrids like their dad? Or would they just be regular humans with the penchant for charging at things head first? And what about Rhino's suit? Would his offspring inherit the ability to wear the suit and gain its superhuman strength and durability? Or would they have to resort to other means of becoming supervillains, like wearing spandex and coming up with pun-based names? One thing is for sure, if Rhino did have kids, they would have some pretty big shoes to fill, both literally and figuratively. After all, Rhino stands at an impressive 6'5" and weighs in at a whopping 710 pounds. That is a lot of mass to carry around, and it is not like he can just take off his suit and go for a jog. So, we do not have any concrete evidence to suggest whether or not Rhino can reproduce. But if he did, his offspring would certainly be interesting, to say the least. And who knows, maybe someday we will get a chance to meet little baby Rhino and see what he is capable of. Just do not make fun of his dad's suit, or you might find yourself on the receiving end of a very angry charge. Does Rhino's horn ever break? Well, from what we could unearth, Rhino's horns are capable of penetrating 2-inch plate steel. This suggests that his horns are incredibly strong and durable, capable of withstanding a great deal of force without breaking. Rhino's suit is a true marvel of engineering, as it boasts an impressive resistance to damage. It is so tough, it can withstand explosions equivalent to 1 ton of TNT and small anti-tank weaponry without even breaking a sweat. And as if that was not impressive enough, the suit can handle temperature extremes ranging from a chilly minus 50 degrees all the way up to a toasty 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit without so much as a crack or melt. This level of durability suggests that Rhino's horns are likely to be just as tough and resistant to damage as the rest of his suit. In fact, in recent years, Rhino's horns have been bonded with adamantium, the fictional metal known for its incredible strength and indestructibility in the Marvel Comics universe. This means that Rhino's horns are now even more durable and virtually unbreakable. So, in short, it is highly unlikely that Rhino's horns would break under normal circumstances. His horns are incredibly tough and resistant to damage, just like the rest of his suit. And with the addition of adamantium, his horns are now practically indestructible. So, if you ever find yourself facing off against Rhino, it is probably best to avoid getting impaled by those horns at all costs. How can Rhino be defeated? How powerful is the Rhino? Rhino is an incredibly powerful character in the Marvel Universe. He has superhuman strength, speed, and endurance, and is highly impervious to physical harm even without his suit. With his suit on, he is capable of lifting up to 100 tons, putting him in the Class 100 strength category. In comparison, the Thing is ranked as a Class 85 hero with a strength rating of 6 out of 7 on the Marvel scale. This means that he is roughly as strong as Rhino, but has been known to perform feats of strength in the over 30,000-ton range. However, when compared to the Incredible Hulk, Rhino falls relatively weak. The Hulk is known for his immense strength, which is said to increase as he becomes angrier. He is ranked as a 7 out of 7 on the Marvel scale, meaning that his strength is incalculable and ebbs and flows like the tide. The Hulk has lifted up to 150 billion tons, and has lifted thousands of tons, which makes him one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. Rhino may be a fearsome opponent with his superhuman strength and durable suit, but he does have a few notable weaknesses that can be exploited by his opponents. One of the most significant weaknesses of Rhino's suit is that it obstructs his pores, which can lead to dehydration and overheating. If Rhino does not periodically stop fighting and drink water, he can suffer from heat exhaustion and become severely delusional. This weakness is exploited by Spider-Man, who leads Rhino into a steam tunnel and opens up the pipes, which causes Rhino to suffer from heat exhaustion and reveal information about his employer in his delusional state. Hydrating yourself is important, kids! Another weakness of the Rhino is his difficulty in manipulating small objects, such as elevator buttons. This may seem like a minor weakness, but it can be exploited by his opponents to gain an advantage. Additionally, once Rhino charges, he cannot easily change his direction or halt his advance, which leaves him vulnerable to traps and other tactics that require quick changes in direction. Rhino also possesses below-average intelligence, which can leave him vulnerable to opponents who are more strategic and cunning. While he may be physically powerful, his lack of intelligence can be exploited by opponents who are able to outmaneuver him or use his own strength against him. Is he immortal? Well, it looks like Rhino's immortality has been put to the test, and the results are in. And let me tell you, they do not look pretty. In the Spider-Verse storyline, the Earth-001 version of Rhino is killed by a trio of spider-powered heroes: the Superior Spider-Man, the Assassin Spider-Man, and Spider-Punk. And if that was not enough to convince you that Rhino is mortal, he later joins the Sinister Six in Dan Slott's End of the Earth storyline, where he actively aids in ushering the end of the world and drowns himself along with Silver Sable while he is trying to defeat her. Yeah, not exactly the actions of an immortal being. So to answer the question at hand, no, Rhino is not immortal. In fact, he is pretty darn mortal. And while he may be physically powerful and armored to the teeth, that does not change the fact that he can be defeated and killed just like any other villain. So if you are even facing off against Rhino in a battle, just remember, he is not invincible, and maybe bring a water bottle just in case. Rhino. Then and now, Rhino has undergone significant evolution over the years, both in terms of his character and his abilities. Initially, Rhino was just another thug in the Russian mafia, but he was given a chance to become something more. He underwent a series of chemical and radiation treatments that granted him superhuman strength and durability, which made him a formidable opponent for any hero who crossed his path. Later, he underwent further treatments that doubled his strength level and made him an even more dangerous foe. Rhino's armor has gone through several changes over the years. Initially, it was modeled after the hide of a rhinoceros, but it was later improved to be acid-resistant and removable. This allowed Rhino to take on even more powerful opponents, as he was not limited by his armor's weakness. It also made him a more versatile villain, as he could adapt his armor to different situations. Rhino's intelligence has always been a bit of a weakness, as he was chosen because of his low intelligence in order to ensure that he would remain loyal to his superiors. Rhino has had few romantic relationships over the years, most notably with Oksana, a fellow member of the Russian mafia. However, he has also had a few alliances with other villains, such as the Sinister Syndicate and the Kingpin. These relationships have allowed Rhino to team up with other powerful villains and take on heroes as a group, which made him an even more dangerous opponent. In the Sinister Six comic book series, Rhino is a key member of this notorious group of villains that is dedicated to taking down Spider-Man. Rhino's backstory has also been fleshed out over the years. His motivations for his criminal behavior have varied. Sometimes it is just about the money, while other times he has a personal vendetta against Spider-Man. For example, in the comic book series The Gauntlet, Rhino is portrayed as a more complex character with a tragic backstory and a greater sense of purpose. Rhino has evolved over the years from a simple thug with superhuman strength to a more complex character with a rich backstory and more nuanced motivations. However, his physical strength and durable armor have remained constant, which makes him a rather difficult opponent to deal with. Rhino's character development has made him one of the more interesting and well-rounded villains in the Marvel Universe, and his continued evolution ensures that he remains a compelling and challenging adversary for heroes like Spider-Man. Marvelous verdict. And there you have it, folks. The anatomy of Rhino, the superhuman powerhouse of the Marvel Comics universe. We have explored the physical structure of this incredible creature, from his tough hide to his powerful muscles, and we have uncovered the secrets that give him this incredible strength and durability. We have learned that Rhino is one tough cookie, with a body built to last and powers that make him a formidable opponent in the Marvel universe. His tough hide, powerful muscles, and horns of doom make him a force to be reckoned with. And how can we forget that special armor of his? It is like he is wearing a tank. So, the next time you see Rhino charging your way, remember, it is not just his horns you need to worry about. It is the whole package. But don't worry, you have got this. Just remember to bring your A game and maybe a few extra reinforcements. Because when it comes to taking down Rhino, you are going to need all the help you can get. And with that, we will wrap up our exploration of Rhino's anatomy and powers. We hope you have enjoyed learning about this fascinating and complex character, and that you will continue to join us as we explore the amazing world of comics. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and keep on fighting the good fight. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.